Everything we see today holds a piece of Sarawak's history. The effort of old men and women who fought for the country. The effort of Sarawak women who fought against all odds to bring out the best of their people lives in everything around us. Their dedication, sacrifices, and courage help improve the lives of many. They pave the way for future generations and help shape Sarawak into what it is today. In a time when women were considered second-class citizens, an iron lady named Barbara Mendu Bay was born. Education and the welfare of her people, the Dayak people, were at the forefront of her mind. She stood face to face with inequality and injustice, risking her life and never backed down. She cared deeply for the people and never asked for anything in return. Barbara Mendu Bay was born on April 4, 1900 at Sungai Tanjung, Kota Semerahan, to an Iban couple. Her family sent her to be educated despite the sentiments of Dayak girls receiving education at the time.
In those days, from the pre-Tri Daraja's time, the education was mainly given by the mission school. Mostly the Raja have allowed the Christian missionaries to go into the interior, and then most of the Dayak are educated in mission school.
At the time of the first Raja, James Brooke, the indigenous people were entrusted to the Christian missionaries to learn practical skills to improve their living conditions. However, the second Raja, Charles Brooke, had mixed feelings on this matter. He appreciated the mission's effort when it helped the indigenous people agriculturally, but he also feared the mission's Western-style education would contaminate their indigenous culture and race, especially how it would alienate the Dayak girls and cost them a decent future. Despite his reservations, he still left them to be educated by the Christian missionaries. Whereas his government opened schools catered to the Chinese and Malay to improve literacy in Sarawak. With the mission's modest resources compared to Brooke's government, they only managed to influence a small fraction of the indigenous community, resulting in wide educational disparities between the races.
In those days, she went to a mission school, and mission was particular about helping girls, helping them to get some education.
She goes to school, she went to St. Mary's, and then after that, she was sent to Malacca for her nursing course.
She was one of the two Dayak girls sent to Malacca by the Raja to study nursing. First two nurses and Dayak nurses in Sarawak.
Following the completion of the nursing course, she went to police to work as a nurse. In 1923, she returned to Sarawak, continuing her career at Sarawak General Hospital. Her return marked the beginning of her advocacy journey.
Because at that time, that was during the British era and the Japanese era, and I think she saw a lot of things, and that's where she learned about rights. Women in that era, because in the olden days, men always tell women, you see, you just do housework, take care of the children, this kind of mentality in the olden days. But as for Inik Mendu, I think she believed that she is able to help people with her experience. I think she learned a lot from where she worked and who she worked with. and then she brought it back to Sarawak, and she practiced it. She knew that women must go out and work and not just to stay at home. Then women also must get involved in politics and fight for their rights. And not only men, so women must fight for their rights, and women must be in politics, and women must be a president of certain association and holds in the government. She started to fight for women's rights, and then after that, I think it's all about human's right. From women's right, and then to human's right and Sarawak rights.
Then the Japanese come, they are very fierce people, you know. So the ladies she brought to somewhere in Samarahan there, you know. I forgot the name, the kampong there. So they stay there until after the Japanese occupation, then they came back to Kuching.
During World War II, an internment camp at Batalintang held prisoners of war and internees. Officers and civilian captives had more privileges than the lower ranks POW. The common soldiers had to break their backs working for the Japanese and for much longer hours in the hot Sarawak weather. And they were often victims of Japanese brutality, overworked, exhausted, and facing diminishing food rations. There were more deaths within the lower ranks than among the officers and internees. Although Barbara Bay is known for her work in helping women, the Japanese occupation saw her fight for the well-being of men.
The other thing I remember of her very fondly was she was telling me that during the war, 1941, in Kuching, she sent food to the prisoners in Batalintang, together with another lady, married to Chinese also. The two Yaban girls, married to Chinese, you know, they went to the camp at night, sneak into the prisoners' camp, giving food, eggs, flour, and buns, food and buns and pau to the prisoners. One of them, I was told by her, Mrs. Ang, was talking to the Japanese sentry while she, Mendu, brought the eggs off to the prisoners. Food, not every day, once a week. Food, water, and all that. It's amazing. They did not get caught.
Before the Japanese invasion, Barbara Bay had a transport company named Borneo Garage, which served a unique purpose during the Japanese occupation.
I must tell you this, Mendu is probably one of the first Dayak women to be involved in the business. With the money from the husband, she started a bus company. And during the war, when the Europeans had to evacuate, there was no boat, no car. She gave away her car, 6 or half a dozen. Used all my buses, they call it buses. Take them away to Bau, to the other side of Indonesia, to the border. Nothing. She didn't get anything. But she just loved doing it. So generous. I went through how this Mendu is. It's just very, very, so very generous with her life and her time and then her money even.
I mean, do you know very much about her MB?
She was awarded by the British Empire.
Yeah, because she have the prisoners of war. In the 1950s, I'm talking about 1950s, 58, when I was involved with the formation of the Sarawak Dayak National Union. We started in her house. She allowed us to meet under her house, also a school. And we started SDNU, Sarawak Dayak National Union. That was a sort of a communal organization or welfare. The emphasis was welfare of the Dayaks in Kuching at that time.
When I was teenage, I still can see a lot of people coming to the house, and I was just wondering, and then ask Ini, how come there are so many people coming to the house, and then what are they doing here? Do you get something in return? You know, only then I found out that these people needs help, and then they have meetings below the house. Only then I found out that she made the house to become a gathering place for people to meet up. So that's the reason why when I asked her, what do you get in return in it? She said, you must help others who needs your help. If you can help, you help. Okay? And if you help them, never ask something in return.
SDNU, I think, was started by Mr. Edward Gerard. He was some sort of an officer by the government. My grandmother was asked by him to form the women's wing, the women's side of it. That was in 1957, I think. That's how she started, the Sarawak Pindu Dayak.
In the first place, you see, Ini Mendu wants to protect the Dayak women, you see. So that's where she started Sarawak Pindu Dayak.
SIDS welcomes any Dayak women from the various non-Malay indigenous groups. As Association President, Barbara Bay prioritized education for Dayak women and children.
I was told she went to Perlis to work in Perlis sometime and came back. An experience in dealing with people and comparing the conditions of the Dayaks with the others. The Chinese going to school, the Malays going to school, the Dayaks must also go to school. And she placed emphasis on education, the importance of education for the Dayak.
She's more interested in the rural people, how to uplift the education standard and their living standard. I think that's her main focus. She really helps to bring out all the children. She knows that education is the key for progress. So she brought in all the children from the rural area, from the long houses, and from there she brought them to a place in the Skamahara in Kuching. Then from there motivate them to study, and a few of them came out quite well in later life.
And you know where? The school was under her house at Skama Road now. You go to the house, but down there, normally they have stilts houses, but under the house, she converted into classes. That's education. So anybody could go in there, and she fed them. She gave them food. And I noticed all this. They don't call them orphans. They just come and join her, stay in Kuching. Dayaks from other areas, from Semenjan, from Soyao, from Sungai Tanjung. In Kuching, where could you stay? Her house.
When I was in Tarat Primary School, I was recommended by my principal, the late Mr. Sim Nyok Sen, to go to Kuching to further my study. He was the one who brought me down to Kuching and see Ine, so Ine accepted me to stay in her house to further my study. We students, there are more than 10 of us. We ladies, the young students, I think 7 of us or 5. And then men are almost the same.
The house is very big, and then a lot of kampong people stay together, boys and girls. During the young people, we are still young.
During our time of staying there, we're having our studies in the round table, and we all study there. It's It's not a classroom, but it's a main hall. And sometimes we went to the dining room. We study there. The young students study in different room, and we study in different room. We don't mix. We were having a good time lah, staying together. You know, being a student, you see, just imagine back in the 60s, we treat each other just like brothers and sisters.
They start with English or mathematics, simple, just like this, the preschool like that. And from there, later these girls went to mission school and then get well educated.
When I moved from Syrian to Kuching from my own kampong, my parents have no objection because they want me to further my study. Every evening, must sitting down after the dinner on the table, take our study. No jelin-jelin lah. She taught us a lot of things, about how to discipline ourselves, how to bring ourselves, how to behave ourselves, all those.
She's very stern with children. Asking people, have you done that? Have you done that? Have you read your books inside that? Very strict in that sense.
The Sarawak people became more politically aware due to the massive anti-secession movement in the late 1940s. Eventually, there was a need for an organization that could champion the interests of Sarawak, which led to the formation of the Sarawak United People's Party, or SUPP.
It was in 1950s, you see. SUPP is one of the first political party in Sarawak. Because Enik Mendu is a very influential person, so she is the one who are able to unite all people, all kinds of races. So that's how SUPP was formed. She stuck together everyone and get everyone united to form a political party to fight for Sarawak, because she was so much against the formation of Malaysia. Enik Mendu is the first Dayak woman to join the politics, that is besides Haji Babol, okay? She always believed that women must have voice also.
Once she got hold of the politics at a later stage, I learned that she was very active after that in the party.
Why she wants to join politics is that she wants the people's voice. She wants a voice from the Dayak, so that the Dayak have voice in the parliament or in the Dun.
In 1969, the first Sarawak state election was held. Barbara Bay braved the waters and took a step into public life by putting her name in the ballot. She became the first woman to stand for SUPP. However, she lost to Haji Babol from the Alliance Party. And after Barbara Bay, no women stood for SUPP in state elections until 2001. As a politician, Barbara Bay had her ideas on what could be done to benefit the Dayak people. But her ideas and that of the British government did not align. She had her own ways of doing things, which resulted in her MBE being revoked.
She would criticize anybody. If some officials trying to bully anybody, Mendu will be the first to tell him off.
Enik Mendu is quite, as I've said earlier, she's quite firm and she's quite stubborn, and she don't really care about pangkat, Anang gila pangkat. They said, don't care about what kind of awards you are given, you see, but you must defend or fight for what you're supposed to fight. So even though anyone who tell her your pangkat will be taken out, and she said, I don't care about this pangkat. But what I want is these people are treated fairly, equally. Just help people if you think you can help. Don't care what people want to say or how they want to pull you down. You must continue.
If she agrees with something, she will agree. If she disagrees with something, she will disagree and tell you she disagreed with you. She doesn't bluff. I like about her.
So when I turned 15, 16 or 17, at that time Inik Mendu was already in her 80s, 83, 84 years old. She continued to help people even though she's already old at that time.
And you know that same for school, church, and now the kindergarten, the whole area was given by Mendu away, given by her to the church for school.
She even gave away part of her land for road, say public purposes at Jalan Simpang Tiga, and that is where King Center is now, you see.
You cannot make mistakes in front of her. You cannot be funny in front of her. You cannot be naughty in front of her.
She's quite fierce and firm, but she knows how to cool you down after that. And that is where something that I learned from her, chubit and tiup. You see, chubit tiup means she will say, this. After that, she will take you back and then cool you down by giving us candies, you see. Otherwise, we will just run away because ini mangah, you know. Mangah means fierce, so we don't want to go and see her. But she's quite smart. You see, she bought candies and then all the grandchildren will come, you know. Like us, we will come, you see.
She got quite a character, and she developed that character in the sense that she's never give up.
When we talk about Iban women, okay, who are very vocal at that time, so it's very unusual actually, you know. Iban men take it very slowly in there, but actually women are the one who started everything.
He says if she wants to do something, she'll do it. She doesn't have to wait for anybody.
Barbara Mendu Bay was a brave, generous, and selfless woman who helped many people, both men and women. Despite all the defeats throughout her career and all the obstacles in her way, she never surrendered. She was both the Dayak women's and Sarawak's voice.